Hello, today I'm going to tell you a story, and this story is about a girl who was in a relationship for 7 years with her boyfriend, and her boyfriend cheated on her, and with multiple girls, so she finally left after 7 years, and after she left, after 7 years was up, she went single, and she was single for 2 years. And that's how the story be. Then she meets a guy off of a program called Pal Talk. Pal Talk is a chat program on the internet, and where you can chat with friends, go to different chat rooms, chat with multiple people, where you could get on camera so people could see you. You can go into private messaging and message people privately, talk to them privately in private messaging, and get on camera in private as well. So this is my narcissist story. So I done told you the relationship I had before I met the narcissist. And then that's 2 years later is when I met the narcissist. But yet, I didn't know he was a narcissist. He came to me on that program called Pal Talk. Okay, so how the story starts is that he approached me on Pal Talk. I was a very lonely girl for 2 years after me and my long 7-year relationship with another man had ended before I met the narcissist on Pal Talk. He messaged me and we just started talking like we were friends. And I don't know, we just started talking, and before you know it, we're getting along really good, and he had seen me on camera, I guess, is what he told me. He had seen me on camera in one of the chat rooms on Pal Talk, and he noticed that I was an overweight girl, and he knew from other people bashing me and calling me names like fat and stuff like that, ugly. He knew that I was being bullied from people I didn't even know, from that program, which is called Pal Talk. And I was on camera, but see, they were strangers that did it, so it didn't bother me all that much, because they weren't close to me, Usually bullying, it does hurt, irregardless. Bullying always hurts, but it hurts even worse when it comes from someone close to you. That's when it hurts the worst. So anyways, let's get started on this. The narcissist approached me on Pal Talk in a private messaging. We just started talking about the Bible, and he told me he found me in a Christian chat room, but he might have found me in one. Then he went to and followed me to another chat room where you can get on cam and just be a normal human. I'm talking, you can have clothes on, yeah, and you're just on cam, and people do it all the time. And so anyways, he's seen me, and he's seen how people treated me in the other room where people make fun of me, which is a non-Christian room. Then he's seen me in a Christian room where I don't get on cam, and how smart I am with Christianity, and how wise I am being a Christian. So anyways, the man approached me on Pal Talk and private messaging. The narcissist did. His name is Rodrigo Alonso Bonfonte, by the way. I repeat, his name is Rodrigo Alonso Bonfonte. Alonso with an S, not a Z. Okay, so he's Colombian, but he lives in America. Okay, anyways, so we were talking. He approached me first out of nowhere. I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life alone and depressed and stuff like that. And then he came along and he messaged me, and we were actually getting along great. I was surprised, We were getting along great. Like, he knew the Bible. Me and him discussed the Bible. Me and him talked, and we liked each other's personalities. And he used to love bomb me. That's what they say what narcissists do. They begin to love bomb you. And love bombing is where people might give you compliments They don't give you, narcissists only give you certain types of compliments. They don't give you every type of compliment. They give you certain types. It depends on what narcissist you're dealing with, I guess. The one I was dealing with would give me compliments like, in the beginning, like, you're really a wise girl, or you're really smart when it comes to the Bible, and just stuff like that he would say to me. So I thought he was a Christian, so I'm like, wow, we actually get along really good, because I thought he was a Christian man, and so I'm like, wow, well, you know what, I really like you because I think you're Christian, and because you sure act like it, and I really am tired of sitting at this desk. How about I just give you my phone number and you call me? And he says, okay. So that's the mistake I made. But I gave him my phone number, okay? And he called me. And then after he had called me, we were talking. He was love bombing me. We talked a lot. I'm talking a lot. Like 4 hours a day. Like 2 hours in the afternoon, 2 hours at night, maybe even 2 more hours at midnight, We talked a lot, okay? And so, I thought this man, wow, he's so nice, and wow, he's, I thought he was my soulmate, but he wasn't, and I'll tell you that as the story progresses. So, anyways, so we are dating on the phone only. He was living in a place called Beaufort, Georgia, with his mother, okay, and his aunt. And he used to always tell me, hey, why don't you come to my house? Like, why don't you just drive your car to Beaufort, Georgia? I live about 8 hours to 9 hours from Beaufort, Georgia, and I'm a single woman, and I don't have a perfect car. Not to mention I am sick as well. I got heart disease because of an ulcer. That's a whole other story. So I am not going to drive my used vehicle all the way 9 to 10 hours alone, driving my vehicle all the way from where I'm at in Florida all the way to Beaufort, Georgia. Because I'd have to keep stopping at hotels and sleeping, because I get sick. I can't sit up for long. Okay, you get what I'm saying. So anyways, basically, like I told him, I was like, I'm not coming to Beaufort, Georgia. For one, I don't want to live with your mother. And two, my dad, being a very, very good Christian man, told me, he said, if a man loves you, he will come to you. And so, he told me that in my 20s, and I never really understood that until this took place with this narcissist guy, okay, that I met, Rodrigo Alonso Bonfante. And so, I kept telling him, why don't you just move here where I live in Florida? And he's just like, yeah, maybe. I'm like, well, why don't you at least come here? We could meet each other, maybe hang out for a weekend, and just get to know each other in person and see if we even like each other in person. And he wouldn't do it. Okay? He didn't tell me that. Something would always have to come up. Something always came up. All the time. And, so, basically, I still thought, he would put it off or whatever, and I'd still think we might have a chance. So he's telling me, yes, I want to live with you in St. Augustine, Florida, yes. And he's like, find some places we could rent, Go to, these different rental communities and look and see online what they have for rent or for sale or whatever in St. Augustine, Florida, where I live. And so I said, okay, I'm going to look around for something me and you both can afford, because we're not rich, but we have money, but we could get something to be together because we love each other, right? He always told me that he loved me. He'd always say, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, sugar plum, honey bun, sugar pie, sugar plum, sweetie feet, stupid things like that. He would say to me, sweetie pie, sweetie cakes, you know, all kinds of little love bombing things, okay? So by the time a few years had passed, we're still on the phone. You know, I'm telling him a whole life story. I'm telling him my everyday things that's going on in my life. We're getting along great. And I'm thinking, okay, we're going to move in together. I mean, look some places up, you know. So I'd find, like, nice little houses with a white picket fence that we could afford and be together, you know. And he just never, he was laughing. I didn't even know he was laughing about it, but he was. I was serious about the whole ordeal. He was just lying about it like a fantasy. Ha 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 ha. This girl thinks that I'm actually gonna, you know, move in with her and think, oh, he told me he wanted to marry me. Told me we're gonna have, I told him I wanted a winter wonderland wedding. And what that is like a winter wonderland theme and all that. You know, and I wanted that. And he told me he wanted it too. And we're planning on getting married one year, and then it didn't come to pass. And we're like, oh, we'll get married next year, and that never happened. And we just kept talking about stuff like that. Hold on a minute. And it never came to pass. And then, so we had been on the phone for a couple years or whatever. Not straight. About 4 hours a day. First started at about an hour a day, then 2 hours a day, then 3 hours a day, then 4 hours a day, then sometimes even 6 hours a day. Off and on we would talk. Okay? So we're 2 years in now. And then on the third year, I think it was third year, I think it was. So close to the fourth year. His mask started to like fall off. Because I was wondering, and he kept calling me sweetie pie, sugar plum, honey bun, sweetie cakes, sweetie feet. And I'm like, feet? Feet? He's like, yes, I'm a major feet fanatic. And I'm thinking, feet? Ew, gross. Feet. Ugh. Feet are so disgusting. You know? I mean, think about it. Everything that you step on is dirt. Okay? So feet's nasty. To me, they are. Anyways, so he would always tell me how he liked feet and stuff. And I said, okay, so that's why you approached me? Because you like my feet? He's like, no, I like the person, I like you. Because you're Christian and everything. I'm like, okay. And then I started getting kind of wondering about what else does he like about me other than my feet. I would send him feet pictures and stuff like that. Oh, I love your feet, blah, 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 blah. I love your feet, blah, 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 blah. And then after that, I was just like, okay, well, that's all you like is my feet? Yeah, I'm like, what else do you like about me? I asked him. He said, well, I like your eyebrows. And I'm thinking, my eyebrows? My eyebrows? I mean, come on. I didn't never like my eyebrows, to be honest with you. I always wanted a better shaped eyebrow, like one that's perfectly lined up with my eyebrow muscles, like perfect line. But I didn't have them kind of eyebrows. So it was kind of insulting to me. But he said he liked my eyebrows. And I'm like, oh, okay. So what else do you like about me? My eyebrows? Okay, what else do you like about me? I asked him. He said, oh, well, I like your elbows. And I'm like, my elbows. That's disgusting. Because I got eczema. From time to time, I get eczema on my elbows. Okay? So I'm thinking, ew, that's all you like about me? You know? And I'm like, thinking to myself, I'm like, okay. Alright, that's insulting, but okay. So I sent him a picture of my friend. And she is not that pretty, but a lot of people think she is. She's okay looking, I guess. She's got like straight hair. Very silky, long, straight hair. She's got an oval face, you know, kind of like a typical model face, you know. Oval face, big lips, big blue eyes. You know, you're just your typical modeling look face, you know. Kind of like, I don't know. Kind of look, I mean, she is pretty, yeah, she is. Kinda. She's not the prettiest, but she's okay. Not bad. But, she could have been a model. She actually won a modeling contest, but she never went in for the second audition, so. Anyways, I asked him, I was like, well, I'm going to send you a picture of my best friend. Tell me, do you think she's beautiful? And then he got the picture and said, wow, she is pretty, and she is pretty. And I'm like, and what's so pretty about her? What do you like? Wow, well, she's got straight hair, and I love straight hair. I'm like, okay, what else? Oh, wow, her face is oval. I love girls with an oval face. Okay, what else do you think is pretty about her? Well, she's got big lips, and I love girls with big lips. I'm like, oh, okay. And what else? Oh, her big, beautiful blue eyes. Oh, I love that. I love big, beautiful blue eyes. Wow, she is beautiful. She's pretty and beautiful. I'm like, wow, okay, I understand. And so then after that, I converted the conversation back towards me again. And I said, this is about 3 years into our phone relationship. And then after that, I was like, okay, well, you like all these things about my best friend, but what about me? Just like my eyebrows and my elbows and my feet. He's like, yes, that's all I like about your looks. And I'm like, oh, well, what else? What's wrong with my face? Like, what's wrong with my eyes? I mean, can't you at least, I didn't tell him this, but I'm thinking in my head, can't you at least compliment me on my eyes? I've had men compliment me before on my eyes, telling me, wow, you have some beautiful green eyes. Like, they're special green. They're like blue and green mixed. I've had people even tell me, ask me if I had contacts, and I don't. Mine are naturally bluish green eyes. Anyways, he never said anything nice about my eyes. I said, okay, I get it. You find my eyebrows attractive. You find my elbows attractive. That's it. My feet attractive. Okay. So I said, okay, so since that's all that's attractive about me, what's wrong with my face? Tell me what you don't like about my face. He said, I don't like your face because you got big cheeks. And I'm like, oh, I thought my cheeks were cute. He's like, I don't like girls with big cheeks. I don't like the look of that. I'm like, oh, that's sad. I never had a man tell me that before. I've had men tell me I was beautiful, but I never had a man say that, what he said. And I said, and what else is wrong with my face? He said, oh, well, your lips are just too thin. I like girls with big lips. I'm like, okay, what else? Well, your hair is curly, and I like girls with straight hair. I'm like, okay. Well, what you're trying to tell me is you think I'm very fucking ugly. Without saying it. You're basically insinuating it. Without coming right ahead. You're basically beating around the bush about it, you know? And so I got mad at him for that. But I held it in. And then I sent him a picture of my ex-boyfriend that I just broke up with 2 years ago. Or 3 years ago, since we were on the phone for 3 years. Off and on, 4 hours a day for 3 years. So I sent a picture of my ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend named Leslie. And I said, well, do you think she's pretty? He says, yes. I said, what's so pretty about her? Oh, I love her purple shirt. And I love the way her hair looks. and her smile's cute. And I'm like, oh, okay. Her teeth weren't showing either. I'm like, okay. I got mad, right? And I'm like, okay, so you think that everything about my face is flawed. He pointed out all my flaws that he thought were flaws. But maybe they are. But, why did he pick me? You know? I'll tell you why he picked me. Because he seen me on cam in one room in Pal Talk, which was a non-Christian room where people bash each other and people were calling me fat and ugly. And he thought, well, this girl is fat and ugly. That's what he's thinking when he sees me on cam, right? He's thinking, why does she go in here and deal with all this? How is she so confident? Because I was confident. I was. Because I've had bullies my whole life. I've been bullied since 6th grade. Okay, about my teeth and about my hair, you know. I'd always get bullied. Not about my weight, because I used to be real skinny. But they'd always bully me. A whole school would bully me about it, you know. And so I was pretty much used to bullying, and then I learned about body positivity. I learned about haters. I learned about Christianity, because I am Christian. And I became like, almost like, I'm like a Bible scholar, you know. Now I am. And I learned about why people hate me and why people don't like me and all that. So anyways, that was me being bullied. I found out why all these years. After reading the Bible, it told me why. Jesus did in his word. Anyways, so, amen to that. And so, the narcissist, he told me I had all these flaws and stuff like that. And I got mad and I hung up. And I cried. I was sad, and I felt very bad about it, really, because he thought my best friend was beautiful, he thought my ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend was beautiful, but he just thought I was just like an ugly, lousy piece of rotten trash, you know, and so anyways, I forgave him for that. Can you believe that? I forgave him because I'm Christian, and I always knew as a child that I wasn't perfect. And as a child, I knew I had flaws. But see, my very first boyfriend, when I was 16, told me I was beautiful. And so he brought my confidence from down here to all the way up to here. Okay? So my first boyfriend always told me I was beautiful. So I just went ahead and went with it. He convinced me. I'm not conceited. I was convinced. He convinced me that. I kept telling him, no, I'm not, no, I'm not, no. Yeah, you are, yeah, you are, yeah, you are. For like, the whole time my relationship, my first boyfriend. He turned out to be an abuser, though. A physical abuser. My first. But that's a whole other story. So anyways, this narcissist I've never came across. This is the first time I ever came across a narcissist. Okay. And so, I forgave him for calling me ugly. I didn't forgive him, but I kind of did. I don't know what I did. I guess I chose that I was so desperate and lonely for someone to talk to that I forgave him, because no man wants me anyway. So I kind of like forgave him for it and everything, but it kind of stuck with me in the back of my head, and I'd always rah at him. Every time we talk, it'd be a fight. Rah, rah, rah. Why'd you do this to me? It went from love bombing to devaluing me on the phone, you know. And I was just like, rah, 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 always griping, arguing, fighting him, you know, on the phone. And so, after that, so the devaluation came in. And then, before the full devaluation, something happened before that, I forgot to tell you. We're on the phone, and I'm driving my car around town. This is before what I just told you happened, okay? He said, you're a malignant woman. Oh, yeah, we were fighting, I remember. He said, you're a malignant woman. I thought he meant I'm a cancerous woman. Like, I'm a fucking cancer. Like, disgustingly fucking rotten cancer shit. That's what I thought when he said malignant woman. I'm like, that is a fucking major insult. You know? And so, after that, I looked it up on YouTube. I typed it in, malignant woman. And then what popped up was narcissist. Narcissist this and narcissist that. Narcissist relationship. Narcissistic men. And how they're sadistic and all this other stuff. And love bombing and devaluing and all this stuff. So he started, that's where it all started. He started devaluing me. And so I forgave him. I didn't forgive him, but I forgave him, but yet I didn't. It's like I tried to forgive him, but yet I didn't forget. What it was is I forgave but didn't forget. That's what it was. So I would always be rah, 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 rah at him all the time. I'd call him again and 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 again. Day after day, I'd call him again and again and again. And talk about anything. About a bird flying across the sky. About, you know, an eagle I seen. Or a car crash I seen. Or a deer I seen cross the road. Or buzzards I seen cross the road. Or talk about the stars in the sky. And stuff like that. Okay? So, finally, after all that, I would just call him because I was bored. And because I had no one to talk to. My thought was now, we're definitely not going to get married. I'm just calling you because I ain't really got anyone to talk to. And so I thought to myself, fake friends are better than no friends. Right? So anyways, I just didn't have anybody to talk to. And so I talked to him all the time. So we're about going forward, probably about year 5. And we got in a big old huge fight. He continued to say he was Christian and all that. And I actually believed him. And the weird thing about this guy is he can actually read people's minds. I kid you not. He could read people's minds. This man could. His name was Rodrigo Alonso Bonfante. He could read people's minds. He could read people's dreams. He could read people's thoughts. He was a really weird, intriguing person. So that's what kept me calling him. And calling him. And calling him. And calling him. If I had a question, I want to answer. And if I want this, I want to answer. And not about my looks. Not about this. Not about that. I want to answer about this, this, and this. You know? And that's why I kept calling him. Because I was bored, basically. And then after that, basically, we started fighting again. We're going into like year 6. No, yeah, year 6, which was last year. So then we're going into year 6, and I knew he was a narcissist, but yet I kept letting him abuse me, like a narcissistic bond kind of thing. And so, I'm trying to remember, girls and guys. Anyways, so found out about narcissism. Then he started hoovering me in these chat rooms. I would break up with him. We'd be broke up for a while, like a month. And like he'd go in these chat rooms that I was in, and he'd hoover around me. I miss you and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, he does. I'm a lonely girl. And I would go back with him. And so then we were on the phone again, talking to him. He sucked me back in like a vacuum cleaner. And basically, I learned about all his tricks and tactics. He's trying to control my mind right now. Because there's something else I got to tell you about him. He's the Antichrist. And he has no need for women, for he magnifies himself above all. He hates women. The Antichrist hates women. Amen? And his name does equal 666. Rodrigo Alonso Bonfante. He's a narcissist. He hates women. And his name does equal 666. That's why he has all these special powers to be able to read your mind and dreams and thoughts. So anyways, after that, trying to get back to my train of thought here. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Okay. So then, one day, me and him got another argument, over the phone. And basically, he started, like, yelling at me and screaming at me and stuff like that in his narcissistic rage. And he did blasphemy. The unforgivable sin blasphemy. If you know what that is, if you're a Christian, you'll know what that is. He did it on the phone. And I went like this. I was like, after him yelling at me like that, and then he did blasphemy, I went, click. That's it. I'm done. Like that, right? I told him after he did the blasphemy, I said, I'm done with you. Click. And then he shows up at my house the very next day. I had to go to the OBGYN gynecologist for a hormonal issue that I have. And he shows up at my door trying to cover his head with like some kind of Jewish shawl or whatever. It's not a shawl as in HAW. The head coverings, it's like it looked like the Israeli flag, but it's not the flag. It's like a shawl they wear around their necks and stuff. He had one over his head. And he's coming to my house. His carpool's, I'm fixing to leave out my front door to go to the OBGYN, right? And basically, so he knew what time that I had to leave because I told him the night before we got in a big fight, you know. I told him, I was like, I got to go to the OBGYN. I got to be there by 11. So he had it perfectly set up. His mother drove him all the way here where I'm at, speeding to get here by the next day and be here when I'm walking out my front door. So he shows up at my front door, but I seen him out the window before I didn't know who he was. I was like, what is this Jewish guy doing in my front yard? It's this guy that's not Jewish, that's putting a Jewish thing over his head to cover his face because he doesn't want me to know. He does not want me to know that he's coming. I didn't invite him, nothing. We never met in person ever until that day. He could have stabbed me. He could have shot me. All that. He could have done any of that. And he was also in narcissistic rage so bad. And I thought it was because he did the blasphemy. But after studying narcissism, I realized the reason why he was so mad is because I discarded him first. So that hurt his ego to where he showed up at my house the next day. And I opened the door and I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta go to the doctor. I done told you. He's like, man, he yells at me, man is head over the woman. Right in my face. That was like an introduction. Like, we didn't shake hands, nothing. All he said was, man's head over the woman. Like that. I'm glad I seen him before he seen me, because he could have stabbed me or anything else. So, anyways, he wouldn't get off my property. I had to leave, and I ain't leaving him on my property. And so, I had to go to my neighbor's house and get them to come out. And when they did come out, basically, my neighbor had to come out with a gun. My neighbor had to tell him to get off our property. So his mom's car is out in the front yard, or out in the front road, public road. And his mom just sitting there waiting for him to get in the car, but she's not leaving. I keep telling him, get out of my yard. I got to go to the doctor. Get out of my yard. I got to go to the doctor. Get out of my yard. I got to go to the doctor. I'm pretty sure he was thinking to himself, I want her to take me to the doctor with her so I could stab her. That's probably what he was thinking, and it could have happened. But my neighbor came out and was yelling, get off her property. Get off her property. Get off her property now. I'm a cop myself. My neighbor's a cop. He pulls out, my neighbor has a gun in his pocket. And he's like, get off her property. Get off her property now. Get off her property now. And he wouldn't get off. Finally, he had a gun in his pocket. Kind of pulled it out a little bit. And he finally gets in his mom's car to leave. And then he yells at my neighbor and says, you're a racist. Because I'm white and Native American, mainly white. And then my neighbor's white. And my neighbor's a police officer. And it's not right to go to someone's house and stand in their front yard without being invited. Okay? He wouldn't get off my property. Finally left. after almost having a gun pulled out on him. Almost. But he was about to get a gun pulled out on him. But he got in the car, left, and yelled at me and my neighbor. He said, "Racist!" Like that. And that's total bullshit. Ain't about racism. It was about, he showed up at my house, uninvited, knew I had to go to the OBGYN, and all that stuff, right? So then, after that, he left and ended up getting Baker acted here in my city. And he did about, I don't know, 5 days in this city, maybe 10, about 5 days. And then transported him back. He ended up moving to Miami with his aunt. They transported his ass back to Miami, where his mama, his aunt, and whoever else lives, his whole family lives in Miami. Because they'd sold the house that lived in Beaufort, Georgia. They sold the house. And they're now living in Miami, okay? So, finally gets off my property and leaves. And ends up getting Baker acted, I guess, because he tried hitting his mom or something in the car. And she called the police, and they Baker acted his ass. Because he was in fucking narcissistic rage. Like I said, he's Colombian. Born in Colombia, but raised in America. And Beaufort, Georgia, now resides in the city of Miami. Miami Lakes, Florida. Anyways, he's 49 years old now. Yeah. And his name's Rodrigo Alonso Bonfante. He's a major narcissist, and I calculated his name on an ancient Hebrew alphabet, and his name equals 666. Okay? And he hates women, because it says in the Bible about the Antichrist, he has no need for women, for he magnifies himself above all. And the Bible also says the Antichrist is short and stout, and he's boastful with a loud mouth, and he's a liar, and he's a master of deception as well. So that's what the Bible says about the Antichrist. Yep. Amen. So, I did all this research. I did my studies on my Hebrew, everything. Found out his name equals 666, and he's the Antichrist, okay? So anyways, after that happened, I learned more about narcissism, about the hoovering, about how these people are, and final discard. And so finally, this year, we finally discarded. I got discarded by him. I kept calling him just to talk. Even though this man despised me with a passion, and I didn't realize it until after I watched all these narcissistic videos. So ladies, beware of the narcissist named Rodrigo Alonso Bonfante. Lives in now Miami. He might move again. He even says sometimes he lives in Texas. And he also lives in Beaufort, Georgia. You know how much they lie. His dad's a doctor. His mother is a housewife. But his dad died. And he's born in Colombia. And anyways, to make a long story short, he just lied to me about a future to be together and to be married and to live in a white picket, nice house with a white picket fence, just me and him, taking care of each other and loving each other. And all he did is let the mask fall off. And when the mask fell off, I seen his true colors, and I didn't know who he was and all his tactics until I actually watched all these narcissistic videos. So yes, I know a lot about narcissism. So I'm thinking about maybe opening up a channel about narcissism myself. But before I can do that, I had to share my story. So yeah, the final discard, the grand finale, is already done. And yes, I'm lonely, still lonely, and depressed. And I don't need to be with a narcissist, and neither do you ladies, because all they do is they're actors. They're like actors putting on a fake mask. They're like a fake plastic tree that produces fake fruit. Us as humans, we got to produce real fruit. Real fruit that's nourishing to us, that really nourishes us. Not mind games, not manipulation, not games that fuck you over. They try to control your mind. These fucking narcissists do, and they are very good at what they do. And he's a magician as well. He even admitted it. Practices black magic, occult, and he's a magician, and he's worse than that. He's the Antichrist, and he's also what they call the worthless shepherd, which is mentioned, I think, in the book of Thessalonians. So yeah, a lot of people are starting to find out about this guy. He's all over the internet, and I'm just telling you, girls, watch out for the narcissist. Rodrigo, spelled Rodrigo, middle name Alonso, spelled Alonso, last name Bonfante, spelled Bonfante. Okay, ladies? So he is a narcissist. He's more than just a narcissist. He's the master of deception. He's a big-time liar. And he is the Antichrist. I calculated his name, and it equals 666. So basically, I was in a 7-year phone relationship with a man who was a narcissist that lied, put on an act, fooled me, and I wasted my fucking time. And he's now 49 years old. I met him about the age of 35. So, yeah, we just finally did the final discard in 2020 of this year. Anyways, thanks for watching my video. This is my narcissistic story about me being abused by narcissism. Am I still suffering from the narcissistic abuse? Even though he's not around, yes, I'm suffering from the syndrome of narcissistic syndrome abuse, yes. But I'm trying to get through it, and thank you guys for watching my video. And I continue to watch different narcissistic videos about narcissism. And one of my favorites is DMARS Coaching. DEMARS Coaching. DMARS Coaching. He's the one that really filled me in a lot on how narcissists think, what they do, why they do it, and everything else. So he helped me out a lot. That's the one that made it dawn on me, like, ring-a-ding-ding-ding-ding. Okay, girls? There's my narcissistic story, and you guess what? I might be making more videos for you girls and guys to watch about narcissism and their tactics. And so thanks for watching my video, and this is my story, my brief story. Thank you. And God bless y'all. Bye.